What up, everybody? Good evening, and welcome to Late Night Live number 105. Ooh, that rhymes. Late Night Live number 105. What up, MG? How's it going? Listening to new playlist today. It's supposed to be Christmassy type music, so we're in a Christmas vibe today. Hope that's okay with everybody. And we're gonna do a little bit of business penmanship practice. How's it going, Marilyn? How you doing? I think I'm going to use my Pocket 6 again today. And I found out, for those of you who were here last week, what's going on, Skeet? For those of you who were here last week, the hairline was incredibly nice and fine with my Pocket 6, which was awesome, but towards like partway through the stream, I was having sort of like losing hairlines and stuff on my ascenders and when I had quicker strokes. So it was almost like the nib was too fine, but I found out afterwards, I think there was a little bit of dried ink in my nib. I gave it a little bit of a clean, and the hairline, the flow is much better now, but the hairline's not quite as nice. The hairline is more of what the nib was actually supposed to be. The dried ink gave me a false sense of incredibly fine hairline, but that's okay. The hairline's still good. So we're just gonna warm up real quick here. Trying out this size of a guide sheet using a 9/30 seconds guide sheet today. Squeaky clean, that's good. Since it's gonna be small, zoom in a little bit more, maybe. That's okay. Take your time. I feel like today's gonna be a pretty chill session. I feel like practicing, so I'm just gonna have a chill practice writing session. In a bit, I'm gonna grab one of the books behind me and choose some exercises to work on. And as always, I'll answer questions as people have them. How's it going, Mom? Cleaning is good. It's gotta be done. Hello, Olivia. Welcome, welcome. Now, what exercises should we work on today? Should I do lowercase or capital letters? What do you guys feel like? What do you guys figure? Lowercase or capital practice? Glide sheet going, maybe? Purging is a good thing to do. It's healthy and fun, and you discover treasures. Skeet says lowercase. Marilyn says lowercase. All right, sounds like we're leaning towards lowercase. Cool, cool. All right, all votes so far for lowercase, so it sounds like we're doing lowercase. Now, Just grabbed my Palmer Method book. I go back and forth between the books a lot. I'm never able to settle on one penmanship book that I want to follow all the way through. But I gotta decide if I want to do today Palmer Method or Zenarian. Get both books out and decide how I feel. Zener Method. Gets into the lowercase letters. Zener definitely goes back and forth between lower to capital. I mean, so does Palmer, I guess. Let's do Palmer. Of this book here, this red one, there is two versions of it. There's a red version and a like white or gray version. I have both, but currently I'm looking at the red version. I haven't looked too closely, if I'm being honest, at the difference between the two. The first lowercase letter that Palmer Method goes through that actually teaches, there's a drill that uses words, but yeah, we're gonna work on the lowercase o, because my lowercase o definitely needs work. That's going to be the exercise we're working on. I get that in frame while I write as well. Maybe not. Takes up a little bit of space. All right. Yep, this is it's freely available on the internet. Palmer Method, this is probably the most available book around. I'm curious, blue and yellow, I'm not sure. Blue book, business penmanship. There is, I believe, a rice system penmanship book that is blue, if memory serves, but it's not super common. In groups of, what are we doing, 5? Like so. That one right there is the one we want to strive to be more like. Here, I gotta get this out of the way so I stay. I need to push my paper a little bit farther away from me. Dip down a little far. Nope, this is A.N. Palmer's book. There's only, all the versions of Palmer Method books are all by Palmer. This is the same book, actually, Marilyn, in the fountain pen, in Larry's fountain pen chat. Dr. Joe posted a link to the scan of this book just a few days ago, I think. Whoops, I did 6. Just keep doing 6, I guess. No, in the Facebook chat is where he posted it. They do theirs so spaced out. I guess I should do it like the book. First one always feels very awkward to me. Yeah, that's handy for spacing. It's basically a pre-made cross drill for you. I'm gonna do a few... Hello, Benny. Thank you very much. It's Christmas vibes today. Sort of. In Palmer method, normally I always use an entry stroke for the O. The only reason I'm not is because they don't in the book. So I'm just doing what they do in the book to see if I can control that first one. Normally I would definitely do an entry stroke into the first O. But they didn't in here, so I'm trying to follow their exercise. It may just end up that every one of the first O's is ugly. I'm trying to make a personal choice as well, because you'll notice in some business penmanship examples and whatnot, I'll do a large version. There's an O. Sometimes it comes straight from that, the exit stroke comes straight from that top corner. Other times there's a tiny little loop. So it comes from a little bit lower. And then other times it almost seems like the penman fully like lifts and comes from down here. Or the little loop is more of a retrace and just goes down there to exit from even lower. Trying to find my personal preference of which one I like better. Palmer method for the most part, you can see in the book. On these little O's in any case, they just go straight from that top corner. There is a little loop there, but it's very, very tiny. hardly noticeable, really. I like that last one. Hello, Hody. Ooh, catching up on your word of the day. Nice. Ooh, that first one was on its own size. Your plan, just the word. Fun. I did, Hody. It's over there. I can't reach it right now. I did. Checked my mail the other day. I was actually showing it off during a Zoom call with some fountain pen people yesterday. Thank you very much. I'll be sending out, I guess I can't really call them Christmas, but I'm going to try to send out Christmas holiday letters more so than cards, because I'm not going to go and buy Christmas cards, and I feel like if I decide to make Christmas cards, it's just going to take me too long, and then I'm going to end up not doing it. So I just have to write. Hello, hello. How's it going, George? Yeah, Philly Pen Show. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. My flights are booked. I'm all ready for the show. Well, I'm not all ready for the show, but I'm excited and ready to go to the show. Ready to be ready for the show? Oh yeah, that'll happen, I guess. Luckily, it hasn't been super wet here yet in Vancouver. It's gonna happen eventually. All right. Now, just a heads up so you guys can sort of understand what's going on. I'm not necessarily, because these aren't all exactly uniform spacing, not so much this is going to look like a cross drill. And a cross drill is normally you'd go 4 times across and then you go this way. I am going to be going this way, but I'm sort of ignoring, I'm not going to like worry about going in between these O's. I'm just going to kind of I'm using my ruling as spacing. This is a 9/30 seconds ruling, which is what Mills recommended, or is what he recommends in his book to practice even spacing. His word spacing isn't that big, but it's the uniform spacing he uses for practice. So that's what I'm going to use today. To see how it differs from, I think it's a little bit shorter than what I was doing originally, I believe. Yep. It's a little bit tighter, so I gotta chill out I can't dash so far across. That's better. OC Pen Club. That'll be fun. One too many. Spacing is very tight compared to what I was doing before. I gotta chill out my dash. Have I ever wrote a crossed letter? No. I've written crossed things before. I like the idea of doing, have you ever seen when people write, like they'll write this way, and then they write along the bottom of the page, and then the page just keeps like rotating in on itself, which is kind of neat. After, like the regular, you write the regular lines that just go straight across the whole thing, and then you write essentially, wait, how does that work? Down? Now I'm confused. It actually, myself, I don't understand what I thought I was thinking about. Because you can go all the way around. That is possible. But that's not cross-writing. That's their own lines. I guess cross-writing is just not around. Just simple this way. Yeah, me too, Georgia. Don't worry. In my head, I thought you could do like a spiraling in, and it would end up being like a cross letter, but it totally wouldn't be. And then I thought, oh, well, you could spiral over top of regular lines, but that also wouldn't work because you'd have your horizontal lines. Why did I think that was an idea? I've never done it, but I swear that seed was planted in my head for some reason. Maybe that was just a silly idea that I never actually thought through. Until I said it live on YouTube to look like an idiot. Well, no, I've never done a cross letter. I've done a letter over top of, like, say, a newspaper or something like that, or like a page in a magazine. Like, say this was the page in the magazine and all the text in the magazine's going this way. Way back in the day, like when I first got into fountain pens. So probably like 2010-ish, I would say. Maybe even before that. Maybe like 2008 or 9. Before I was into penmanship and calligraphy at all. It was just about fountain pens. I used to write letters with that. So on a piece of newspaper or on a magazine, I would then write along like lengthwise along the page and write a letter in cursive and send it that way. I've done that before. Basically, the cool thing about writing with only the finest pens is they don't bleed that much. But yeah, newsprint would be problematic. You'd have to use like a Noodler's X Feather or something. Would that? I wonder if that would survive on a newsprint. Magazine print would be fine. Magazine paper. Velvet black. I've never used velvet black before. Increase the size of my writing just a little bit. George, do you have any pens in mind for the Philly Pen Show already? Are you hunting for anything or hoping to acquire anything specific yet? What up, Z? How's it going? Ooh, fun. I've never used a needlepoint wall skyline before. That sounds absolutely lovely, though. Good to see you as well. Working on some lowercase today, trying to iron out these lowercase O's of mine. And to get some more uniform spacing as well. Oops, one too many. This song's groovy. This, I don't know if anybody else hears it, but there's a strong Michael Jackson, The Way You Make Me Feel vibe in the background of this song. I'm just gonna put that out there and see if you guys hear it. It comes in from time to time. Oh, not anymore. No, it's definitely in there. Oh, now the song's over. But that was some strong, The Way You Make Me Feel. Took me a minute to realize what I was hearing in there. Oh, are you worried if you got an Arusha or a Makie you would damage it? I feel like a pen like that, I don't know if I should own a pen like that, because, yeah, my pens roll around on my desk and they're tools. I definitely have to treat that more like a more special. I like that, Marilyn. Oops. Understandable, Ojaswinny. Oh, I didn't even see your hello up there. Hello, Ojaswinny. Sorry I missed that. At the end? Yeah. 5. Barely slept. That's no good. Sleep is important. Who's spaced out? That sounds like a good plan to me. Yeah, 72 hours is a long time. The only thing I want to do or can do for 72 hours... Oof. The only thing I think I've ever done for 72 hours was playing video games. I feel you on that, George. That's how I feel about the lowercase o as well. That's why I kind of started with that one today. Maybe we'll do E next. And I'm trying to stop myself because it's a lot. I can use my fingers to get those O's, which isn't wrong, and many penmen do it. I like my fingers to, if they help, I want it to be a subconscious help, so I'm trying to train to use them as little as possible. But it makes consistency rather challenging. Ooh, that was a good set. Those last two sets. A little bit bigger, nice and smooth. Yeah, I would have to if I remember hibernating for a while after I stayed up and played video games for 3 days. I've never worked for 3 days straight. Never had to do that before. Some double O's going on. I feel like 4 to midnight is still a pretty heavy shift. Those don't match. Come on. My minuscule G, I guess it depends. Normally, it kind of depends on what else is there. I tend to stay away from the... Do you mean just like the straight line like that? Normally, I would go for the loop, because I tend to read this as a Q. To me, I really like it, and I wish I didn't read it as a Q so much, but I read it as a Q more than a G, so I tend to do a loop descender for the G. Alright, what lowercase letter should we do next? Lowercase E? Let's do the E. Not gonna follow through the progression of the Palmer Method book because not what I'm feeling today, but I feel like lowercase e can use some work. So we're gonna do the similar exercise. I feel like Palmer Method E's are way rounder than how I want to make them. Now I gotta look at another book and see if I'm... Yeah, I feel like what we see here, the roundness of this down here, that almost looks wrong to me. It's obviously not wrong because it's in Palmer Method, but stylistically, I don't know if that's what I want to go for. We're gonna contrast, check out Zayner, and oh no, I don't have Zayner and Mills. I tend to make my E's sharper because E's are quite sharp in ornamental penmanship. What are Mills' E's like? Where are your E's? Mr. Mills, you're using them. But wait, does he not have an E drill? He has to. I must be blind. He doesn't. What? M-I-U-A. Weird. Ascenders, descenders. I never realized Mill's book legitimately, well, I'm not done the book yet, but it doesn't have a set of drills for E. That's bizarre. Isn't it? I just assumed there would be one in there. Strange. Alright, so we won't look at Mills' E's. I mean, he has e's in there, but not in like a drill form. There might be a paragraph in there somewhere that explains why. But that's curious to me. Does Zayner? I imagine he does. There it is. So we have cascading ovals or traveling ovals that slowly space out to give us our E. And then he has an exercise here going between I and E. I-E, 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 and then just E's. Do not hurry hastily from the compact part of the exercise to the wide part, but gradually, patiently, and perseveringly. Let the motion be a lively one from start to finish. Keep the loops full by using semicircular action. Keep the lower turn of the E as narrow as the I. And that is one thing. Well, I guess the I in Palmer method is a little rounder as well. Not as round as some of those E's, though. Curve the upstroke plentifully, but keep the downstroke nearly straight. The little finger needs to jog towards the right freely and easily, but it is best to let the little finger glide on the nail. Use a semi-rolling motion for the E exercise and keep the top nearly as rounding as the bottom. Their English was so very interesting in these old books. Cool, let's do it. Sorry, Palmer method. You're out for the lowercase e because I don't like your e's. Below the baseline. Okay, let's actually do that cascading exercise. I've never done that before. Whoa, that feels crazy when you get going into the spaced out one. That's the way, that's for me too, George. Normally an E, like if I draw one slowly, I like to have it be about like so. Quite sharp on the bottom, which is like Spencerian, basically. Business penmanship is slightly more rounded, but I feel like Palmer method went to the extreme with the roundiness. I never noticed that before. Oh, I ran out of space. I didn't space out quite quick enough. Hello, Gangenpreet. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? feel like I have zero control when I get to the spaced out ones. I'm so used to, with ornamental penmanship, you have the little, that like pause, 1 and 2 and 3. You have a slight little, not stop, but it slows near the baseline and a little bit up at the top as well you can get away with. But if I'm trying to just keep going, that's a little more of a challenge. I am doing very well, thank you very much. Oh, that's good, Marilyn. It's good when good tools come in handy and do what they're supposed to. Ooh, those are way too small. Oops, one too many. Sorry. Back. Hello, Lori. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you. Ooh, too spaced out. Wait, I guess I should write... I'll write E-I-E-I-O. That's more fun. Oh, McPenman had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. Ooh, I can't write it that fast. Writing too small. My OP smallness is coming in to play. Gotta write bigger. What up, Brian? How you doing? Ooh, floating off my baseline on that last line. Go E-I-E. do one more. Get some doubles. What's going on, Lurker James? What are you up to this evening? What you cooking is what I should ask, because I know you're probably cooking. Ooh, how was it? No spoilers, but was it good? I haven't been to the theater in a while. I gotta go. It's been a minute. Uh-oh. Why were you on Benadryl? Do you have a cough? Is that what you take Benadryl for? Or is that just your movie night, beverage of choice? Allergies, that makes sense. I'm excited to see on December 20th. I have tickets to Avatar, which I'm excited to go check out on the 20th. Hello, Peter. Nice to see you. How you doing? Are you? Awesome. That's amazing. You know, it was Lurker James who started that. If memory serves, I feel like that was Lurker James. Chips with chopsticks, man. I haven't done it since last week. I haven't. I ran out of chips, and I haven't been to the grocery store. I went to a grocery store parking lot earlier today, but the parking lot was so full, I just decided to go home. I was on my way home, and I stopped at the grocery store to pick up a few things, but it was so busy that I just peaced out and went home. I'll go tomorrow or something. Hello, Prachi, welcome. You do it with chips and not popcorn. I now do it with everything. Whoa. I habitually make my lowercase e's so small. Just writing random series of lowercase letters now that we've done. Adding N and M and U into the mix. But E needs to be bigger. Ooh, yeah, peanuts with chopsticks. That's like, when I was in Japan, we were at this festival thing, and there was a challenge where they had some really hard beans, uncooked beans that were hard and shiny, and slippery. Not slippery like slimy, but just hard. And the challenge was to go as fast as you could, putting one at a time from one bowl into another one. Oof, yeah, hard mode for sure. Peanuts with chopsticks, I feel like you'd have to... I couldn't do that while watching a movie or something, because I'd have to be so focused on the peanut. Whereas, that's why I like popcorn so much. I don't have to think about it. I just sort of put the chopsticks in, and if I squeeze, there's a good chance I'll pick up some popcorn. I don't actually have to look at what I'm doing. Oh, no kidding. If the chopsticks were like, well, long and like hard, polished, like a polished plastic or something, that's extra hard mode. True. I don't have any Korean chopsticks. I just have some Japanese ones and then some cheap bamboo ones that I just kind of have for miscellaneous. Those are the ones. The bamboo ones are the ones I use for popcorn. I had a metal set once upon a time, but I think they got left in an old apartment and my ex-roommate has them now. Never been a fan of square chopsticks. Or of... I mean, yeah, when the ends are square. I don't mind when the thick end is square, but I want it to go down to a rounded point, I think. Sounds like a good dream, James. Little ribs on the end. I need to get a really good, just like a good set of Japanese chopsticks. I have some decent ones, but not like a really nice one. When I lived in Japan, I had a set that I took everywhere with me. A little nice wood case and everything. Restaurants and everything, I use them everywhere. I don't have those anymore. That was too slow. We lost it at the end. Ooh, those are inconsistent. They need work. See, now in the Zayner book... Wait, how does he... I want to look at the O's in the Zayner book. Discussing what we were talking about earlier, about how they end. No. Lowercase O's, lowercase O. Where are they? It's on Jam. What? Where are the O's? This book is so thorough. This is a great book to go through. We're not at the O's yet. There we go. Yeah, so you can see the way Zayner has the O. They do have a little loop on this side, on this little bit, so it ends up going out lower, that's a capital, but going out lower than the ones in the Palmer Method book. And then the Zayner V's, what I'm doing right now, they drop like super low. Oh, you can't see. They drop super low, like halfway down to the baseline. They have that little loop or retrace before they go out. Uh-oh. Excuse me. Sneeze. I gotta be careful that I don't separate that too much so it looks like a U that doesn't go all the way to the baseline. Thank you very much, Marilyn. Gotta make sure it still has a little bit, just a loop or a retrace. Keep doing too many and making them too condensed now. Different styles of business writing. There are differences. There are variations that are very, very similar. To me, the biggest difference, if I'm being 100% honest, form-wise, I don't consider them super different, but the way they are written is very different to me. There are some forms like business penmanship on average is slightly more rounded than ornamental penmanship. It's also usually not written as small because it's not as practical for legibility and whatnot, whereas ornamental penmanship, the difference between like the capital letters and the lowercase letters, it's much greater size difference versus in business penmanship. And yeah, like I said, slightly more round, slightly less shorter entry and exit strokes. I tend to do my entry and exit strokes a little long just because I'm so used to doing ornamental penmanship. But then the biggest one is the application or how they're written. For example, if I were doing ascenders, and some people write business penmanship ascenders like this, and that's fine. For me, business penmanship was designed to be written quite quickly and flowy without stopping, whereas in ornamental penmanship, we stop a lot. So like an ornamental penmanship, ascending L, for example, we would do our first stroke, which would stop right there, and then you'd continue from there and do your exit stroke. So you'd have your loop, then you'd stop and go out. Whereas in business penmanship, I would continue going through the entire thing. You wouldn't stop. And because of that not stopping, that's why business penmanship is often slightly more rounded on the bottom, because it doesn't have as many of those stops. Another example would be like the lowercase t. In ornamental penmanship, we would do our undercurve, we would lift, and we come up here, do our shade down to there. There's no shade, obviously, because I'm not using flexible nib, but you'd have a shade down to there, and then you'd go down to the baseline and out. So in 3 different strokes. Whereas in business penmanship, it's just an undercurve up, a downstroke, and an exit stroke. That all happens in 3 motions, but one stroke, and then you cross. So for me, it's just a difference in how you write them. But the forms themselves, if you're following like a specific style, like Palmer method, definitely more rounded. Some other variations of business penmanship are similar to ornamental penmanship. I mean, they're all based on the same idea, form-wise. People who have studied and gone far more in depth into business penmanship more than I can probably speak a lot more about the differences and similarities than I can. To me, they are quite similar. Also, ornamental penmanship, lowercase as well, have slight shades in them, a lot of them. Which is a huge difference, but you already mentioned that in the, you said, besides being monoline, well, that's covered in that. One too many letters. Oops, only 4. I find that the more I practice business penmanship, lowercase letters, I'm not a huge fan of business penmanship capitals. They are something that I need to practice more of and get better at, but similar to engrosser script capitals, not a huge fan, so I don't do them very often. But I find that the more I practice business penmanship lowercase letters, the ability to do all the letters flowy and sort of less, I don't want to say stuttery, but with business penmanship, like I said, we change the flow and we stop a lot. The more I train to keep the letters going, when I do ornamental penmanship and stop the letters, they look better than they did prior. So for me, practicing business penmanship, and admittedly I haven't practiced it a ton in comparison to ornamental penmanship and Spencerian and whatnot, but practicing business penmanship really helps my ornamental penmanship lowercase. And vice versa, actually. Just, they all kind of help each other's control. In my opinion, not a fan of business penmanship? Oh, except K. Oops, one too many. Ooh, we should do the lowercase s next. Dude, I know of the Gallifreyan alphabet. I don't know the Gallifreyan alphabet. I've never watched Doctor Who, so I don't know Gallifreyan. But I know of it. I know what it looks like. And words with WR? What's wrong with words with WR? W's not that bad. R is, the standard R is quite difficult to do at speed, which is why I prefer the R variation lately when I have to write, or when I write lowercase r. Whoops. Fun. I mean, they, design-wise, the Gallifreyan alphabet's pretty cool looking. How is it? Well, I'm using a fountain pen today. James, not a dip pen. So this is just it's a Jovo nib in a Pocket 6 fountain pen that I had ground. I had somebody grind for me. Nibmeister grind into a extra fine needlepoint at last year's Philly Pen Show, which I will probably get another pen ground by the same person at this year's coming up Philly Pen Show, I imagine. I might get a second nib ground for my another, because I have my Decimo and my Pilot Vanishing Point. I might get another Vanishing Point. Yeah, I don't think any nib stock comes this, like, no stock nib comes this fine. I'm pretty sure the finest, and I demonstrated this last week, but I'll do it again. Pretty sure the finest, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like the finest factory extra fine nib would be this one here. Would be the Sailor extra fine. Which is beautifully nice and smooth, but not quite smooth enough for me. I will probably have this ground at some point. I think I might send it away to Mike Masuyama in Los Angeles to grind for me. It is, yeah, it's a very big difference. But I mean, that's the case with basically any fountain pen. I mean, most of the pens that I use, most of my own fountain pens are custom, so they're all quite a bit finer, sharper than what you would expect from a standard fountain pen. Actually, I can use that same sheet of paper and I can write on the back. Because I'm not doing ornamental penmanship, there's no wet ink on the page, which is handy. I also want to get my existing Pilot Vanishing Point ground a bit finer. It just, I think, needs to be tuned up. It doesn't have to be made super finer, but I think the nib itself needs to be tuned. And then I might get another Pilot nib unit, sharpened or made finer for so I can have one in both my vanishing point and my Decimo, and not just keep swapping the nib unit between the two depending on which pen I want to use. What lowercase letter do we want to do next? Any requests? Is there a lowercase letter that you guys want to work on next? Oh, we could do the lowercase s. Otis when he agrees with the s. I'm not going to do the GH just because I'm not in the mood for ascenders and descenders right now. But I do feel like my S needs work in general. So I do feel like I'm going to do S. Because I tend to... I'll just draw one. I tend to do quite like a compound curve on my downstroke. Versus business penmanship, that compound curve is very subtle. Sometimes hardly even there. Like if we look at the Palmer method again, like in Zahner's book, it is a compound curve, but it is slight. You can see it's just a slight curve down, not very abrupt at all. And I feel like, is it Palmer? Palmer's is basically like straight. There is a compound curve in there a bit, I think, but yeah, let me try to find it. Yeah, there it is. So you see on these S's, there is a bit of a compound curve, but hardly. It's basically just going up and then coming down on this angle and curving in. There is a slight curve there, but I tend to make that curve quite large. And on some of these, like this one, you can see there's hardly a curve, hardly a curve. So I need to try to take the abruptness of my compound curve out of my lowercase s. Where did I get these books in book form? So both of these books actually show up on eBay and whatnot relatively often. Palmer Method can be found honestly pretty much anywhere. I bet you if you looked it up, Palmer Method, on eBay right now, there's probably at least 2 or 3 listings of it at the moment. Just keep in mind it's not a super rare book, so there's no need to spend a lot of money on it. It's not worth a ton, and there's a lot out there. I actually found this one at a flea market. I didn't get this one online. I randomly found it at a flea market, but I have another copy of Palmer Method as well that I got on eBay, the white, just because I wanted the white version. And then this one, slightly more rare, but still not rare, shows up relatively often. Zahner Method of Our Movement Writing, Manual 144. It shows up pretty often as well. Again, I don't think worth spending a lot of money on, because there are, well, this book in particular, I scanned this book, so there's a good quality scan on the internet that you can print yourself. I don't have that one printed, either Palmer Method either. These 2 books I don't have printed, so I'm referencing the actual book, but ones like Mill's book, for example, I have the original of this book. It's right here. But I don't reference it because I don't like to open it all that much, because it's an old hardcover book and it's old. So I have it printed, a really good quality scan of it that I can reference and whatnot. But yeah, these 2, not super rare and findable on eBay a lot of the time. I've never tried Platinum's Ultra Extra Fine or the, is it Saibitogi? Is that how you, is it Sabitogi? Saibitogi? I need to try those, because I'm curious. Because I can never trust, like, the fountain pen world when friends of mine in the fountain pen world who don't know the penmanship world talk about how scratchy a nib is, or when they're too fine. They don't know. I mean, because I like scratchy, so long as it's I like scratchy because of the extra fineness, not scratchy because of any other reason. But I guess there are some sharper factory nibs out there that I have to go, I have to experiment some more. S is for shimmy shimmy. Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to give it a shot. I basically sort of, in my brain, have defaulted to, no fountain pen is as sharp as I want. Even the sharpest factory fountain pen isn't as sharp as I want. So if I know that if I want to use a pen, and that's like that, my Sailor Pro Gear, I love the pen and I want to use it, but it's not sharp enough. So I know I'm not going to use it very often, so I want to get it ground. Normally, when I tell that to fountain pen people that oh no, don't get it ground, like it's such a nice, smooth, beautiful nib, which it is, but I just know I'm not going to use it. So I want it to be fine so I can use it. When's Philly? Philadelphia Pen Show is January 13, 14, and 15, or somewhere around there. I fly to Philadelphia on January 11th, but it takes me basically all day to get there because I have 2 layovers on my way to New York or on my way to Philly. I want you to elaborate on that, James. What do you mean you don't trust the fountain pen world with penmanship? What do you mean? It's so hard not to do compound curves on the lowercase s. Does the F's go above the X height? Yes, it does. So if, like, let's say these 2 lines here, I don't know if you can see my guides are very, very finely printed on this guide sheet. If that was my X height, my S would go, like if we split the guide sheet up into, into quarters, the X height into quarters, the S would go approximately 1/4 of an X height, or is it 1/3? Nah, about 1/4 of an X height above the X height. Like so. There were instances where it didn't, but for the majority of the time, it just dips just above the X height. That is true. I wish that more fountain pen people or people in the fountain pen community would pick up styles like business penmanship or unshaded Spencerian and things like that. Monoline, monoline Spencerian, monoline ornamental penmanship. Just because it makes writing look nicer. But it's true. Writing is often not the priority for people in the fountain pen world. They just like pens, and I get that. That was me before I got into penmanship and calligraphy. I was part of that world. I'm always torn. The S is such a weird one for me because it's so different. Writing it in business penmanship versus ornamental penmanship for me. Like for ornamental penmanship, I would go up, come down, and stop. I don't even touch them. It stops on the baseline, and then I go and add the weight there. So that's obviously a lift to add the little bead, and then I come back and drop to the side of it to do a connective stroke into the next letter. But in business penmanship, it has to either retrace, or like you can see some of the ones in this Zahner book, you can see them going up, coming down, and they have a little bit of that because the retrace isn't exactly right. Or I know some penmen will go up and lift and then lift just a little bit and then drop there. But I feel like for the most part, what does Zayner have to say on the topic? Actually, does he talk about that? Business penmanship, the letter should always be closed at the bottom, so it does have to come up to meet the entry stroke, entry curve. Curve the upstroke considerably, and the downstroke more than the upstroke. This is the small. Oh, what? Ah. Do. He doesn't talk about the connective stroke. I don't assume they lift. Oh yeah, for sure. That's the biggest difference between the penmanship and the fountain pen community is what is fine, what is smooth, what is scratchy. They mean very different things to different practitioners. But that's also even in the pointed pen world, because some people that, like people who do engrosser script or people that do calligraphy and penmanship, what they consider extra fine isn't what I consider extra fine. And I know there are penmen who would grab like my holder and write with one of my nibs, and it would be considered way too sharp or scratchy for them, and they're split like pointed pen users. But if you don't write with a extra crazy fine nib all the time, you're not used to it, and it doesn't feel really good. Well, S just never feels super smooth for me, but I guess that's why we need to practice it. I should really mess with people one day and teach an entire workshop. Teach an entire penmanship workshop with a technical pen. Oh, is it gonna work for me? There we go. If you can tame these pens and be comfortable with them, they're incredible. Whoa, messy. I gotta get that upstroke a little more. I'm gonna do some that aren't connected real quick. Not smooth or consistent enough. It's so very weird not just doing a super compound curved S, but I gotta get used to it. Thanks for hanging out, Peter. It's always nice to see you. Have a wonderful sleep, and we'll see you next time. Four little hostages to school. I love that. Good luck on your mission, sir. Going back to fountain pen, just cuz. Sweet dreams, Peter. S wasn't for serious. I mean, business penmanship in general is pretty serious or focused. Yep. Shake it up, shimmy, shimmy. But we can't write the word shake it up or shimmy, shimmy till we got a good lowercase s. So we gotta put in the work. There's no shortcuts. Who started the long S and why? Oof. I mean, the long S is old. I can't cite who started it or where it started or when it started, for that matter. I have researched it before, but none of that knowledge has stayed in my brain, unfortunately. There's like a good Wikipedia page on the long S, and a couple good websites that sort of detail different variations of the long S and the years it was popular and when it sort of started fading out. I personally have never used a long S. I like them, but I was never raised to read that as an S, so I've always seen them. They always look weird to me. They catch my eye. So I'm sorry, I don't know. If you want to look it up and let us know. I don't know who started it, but it's old. Like, it was in a lot of old manuscripts and things like that. Couple long S's in there. It's fun. It's fun to write because it's just a long figure eight. If anybody, I guess I'll chat about it while I'm working here. If anybody is practicing or is working on ornamental penmanship, and is a member on my Discord, or who wants to jump on the Discord, we just started on Monday a sort of, I don't want to call it series of challenges, but I kind of consider it like a group activity, sort of a community challenge. I don't know if it's going to be every week or every 2 weeks yet. I want to see how this first one kind of goes, but we're picking a random form, shape, stroke, flourish, letter, something like that every week or 2 weeks. Like I said, undecided. And then everybody is to sort of take a swing at it and discuss different methods and practice different ways. I started working on my own exercises for it yesterday and quite enjoyed it, and it was actually educational. Doing the exercise that we did in there sort of taught me a couple things that I didn't know about my own way of writing the capital O, but the first exercise we're doing is just a shaded, closed, angled oval. So if you're into ornamental penmanship and you want to join a little community challenge, even though I don't want to call it a challenge. It's no pressure or anything, but a good discussion ongoing. Jump on the Discord and join in. Have you done yours yet, Hody? It should be, I mean, it is fun, and it should be good. The idea was sparked by, I can't remember how many months ago, but a little while ago, I think it was Walker, or somebody posted a question, or posted a capital I, and then Walker commented on it, and then I talked about it, and it ended up being like a whole bunch of people on the server sort of joined in this conversation about the lowercase I, and everybody was filming and taking pictures of trying it or attempts at the letter. Walker and myself and some others posted videos of doing it, and everybody was kind of critiquing / answering questions to everybody else, and it was really cool. It was one of the coolest conversations to have ever happened on the Discord, and it was just about the capital I in ornamental penmanship, one specific variation of it. So I wanted to sort of try to induce some more conversations and moments like that. So unlike the Sigsling and Sunday challenge, where the challenges are quite challenging and quite intimidating and a little overwhelming, if I'm being honest, these ones are smaller, just one stroke, so you can really dive into the specifics of it, and practice it to clean up all our writing. I wonder if I want to say that I also want to catch up with the word of the day, Hody, but I don't know if I'm allowed to even say that anymore. I feel like I'm so far behind now. I fell off the horse and I've been having trouble getting back on. I was in the live study room on the Discord last night, working on my my shaded oval. Where it's located, so discussion about it, like I posted the form that we're studying in the OP chat thread, and then the OP share thread is where you share your examples. So it's sort of split between those two, because we don't want too many conversations still happen in the OP share channel, but we want most of what's in there to be the actual exercises, and then we sort of chat and discuss. It happens in both, but I would like to have most of the discussions in the OP chat channel. We'll do W next. What's going on, David? Love the podcast, by the way. I enjoyed listening to Two Big Penmen. I love that you have, I'm assuming maybe he'll watch this video at some point, I don't know, but I love that Gray's doing it. I love getting the things that he remembers in his brain and the connections and history of penmen that I feel like none of the rest of us remember. I like that when you're talking and like I remember when it was the Honolulu Penman, and he just knows these things and they just stay in his head, and I'm insanely jealous of that fact. So I love that on the podcast that comes out, that we kind of get access to Gray's memory and brain. I love it. Hey, yeah, you let me know. I'm down. Yeah, Coyd. His ability to just remember basically everything he reads makes me infuriated. Because I've read so much and none of it stays in my brain, unfortunately. I wish it would. Oops. Too small on my E's. Potentially. My memory is only good for useless things. My body remembers things, but my brain doesn't. Or I'll remember reading things, but never know where I read them or how to find them again, or the specifics, unfortunately. No, that's the thing. That's why I could tell when you guys were talking when Coyd came up. You can tell that that's not something, or it didn't sound like something he was planning on talking about. You mentioned Honolulu Penman, and then I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like that's when his brain went into, wait a minute, I read something about a Honolulu Penman. There it is. Let me give that information. That recall just came out, which is great. It's good. I quite enjoyed it. Yep. Yeah, he told me that at convention in the summer. He mentioned that. It's cool. I'm jealous of it. I wish I could remember everything I read. Lowercase a? Why'd I put that in there? We aren't practicing the lowercase a today. Yet, anyways. Ooh, smooth out that S. Oh, thanks a lot, dude. Appreciate it. Gotta get my business penmanship up to scratch. Not real words, just writing letter combinations. Yeah, Dave, if you wanna post the link to the podcast in the chat, go right ahead, and then people can find it. If you want, you don't have to. If you're on the Discord, Gray did post it in the lobby of our Discord a couple days ago. Hello, hello. How's it going, Annie? That link didn't work? Did you... I mean, which link? Did you just try to post one? I'm quite well, Annie. Thank you for asking. The one on the Discord works. At least, that's how I found it. Oh, I didn't even see you posted a link above. Did you post it? Oh, maybe my chat doesn't let you post it. Wait a minute. Give me 2 seconds. Oh shoot. Clicking buttons I'm not supposed to click. Try to think of something to record and send to you guys. Sounds good, Lori. I was wondering if you were still here or not. Well, have a good night and sleep well. Thanks for hanging out as always. Here's a question for you, David, and any other business penmanship writers. I know I was mentioning it earlier, but do you lift at the end of your S? Do you retrace or do you cut through? Like, do you retrace like that? That's an extreme example of that. Or do you lift and keep going? Or do you completely retrace? Just curious. Marilyn, you'd retrace? All right. I feel like I retrace, but I'm noticing that a lot of times I'm not closing my S's like I should be. In ornamental penmanship, I don't close my S's. That's intentional. But in business penmanship, it's a habit I have to break. What do Carlini and Gebhardt say? What do they do? Do they lift? Or do they cut straight through? I feel like there is retrace in there, though. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I thought you meant in general they gave you a hard time for retracing in general. I was like, wait a minute, how do they do it then? Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's never an issue for me in ornamental penmanship because there's a lift. In OP, come up, you come down, you stop at the baseline, you lift, give your little tick, and then you lift again and go there. So there is no retrace. So business penmanship throws me for a loop. But the exact retrace makes sense. That seems to be the way they're intending to do it. They can't give you a super hard time for visual retrace, though. Zahner's book's got visual retrace that cuts through, so don't let them bring you down, David. If the old books had it, then Carlini can just relax, and so can Mr. Gebhardt. So hard to retrace that perfectly without actually like stopping, which I don't want to do for business penmanship. That's valid. That's very true. I actually had this discussion a while ago on the Discord too. I was asking people if they retrace or if they like lift the T, because I know some people will do like the similar to ornamental penmanship where they'll do their undercurve, lift, come down and out. Whereas OP, we do it in full-on 3 pieces. But in business penmanship, to my understanding, in a perfect world, it is an I that then goes up and then retraces back down and goes out. Oftentimes, you end up seeing it connected all the way to the top. That's not uncommon, but I feel like this is my goal. To have the same undercurve as a lowercase I, but then transition to the slant line so that the retrace is then not recognizable as a retrace. It's my goal anyways. Can I do it all the time? Debatable. Yeah, it's designed to be done pretty quick. It doesn't always have to be written super fast, I guess, but to me that's sort of the essence of what business penmanship is I like that it also looks like it's written quite quickly. It looks breezy. Part of the appeal. To me, if I want to do things perfect, I'll do ornamental penmanship. And lift and stop a whole bunch. Whoa, not sure what happened there. Agreed. I would definitely agree with that. To me, the most rewarding part about business penmanship is the better I get at business penmanship, the better my ornamental penmanship looks. Because even if the forms are slightly different and the writing is very different, the flow that I train when I train business penmanship transfers over to, it still stops more in ornamental penmanship, but it's still the flow of the actual writing, and like this, it's in smaller doses. But for example, like the stroke of an N, of a lowercase n, just like a simple, that little guy. The more I practice that exercise, like I practice it in OP a lot as well, but when I practice it in business penmanship, it goes along with other things and it's not just by itself. So then when I get good at that in business penmanship, and then I do it by itself in ornamental penmanship, it just looks, and I don't know, so much better. It feels like compound practice. The better I get at business penmanship, the better I get at ornamental penmanship. Which is my goal anyways, is to get better at ornamental penmanship. If I had to pick which I cared more about, I don't think it's a surprise that I like ornamental penmanship more. But they feed each other, in a sense. Yeah, agreed. Awesome movement training, for sure. I like that our business penmanship is also very telling. Like when I do a word, when you start to lose it and everything derails and falls off the tracks, it's very, very apparent. You can't hide as much. Ornamental penmanship, you stop more often and those derailments don't really happen. So it's very like telling in my movement. Like I learn where in my movement I am weaker. So where I have to train in, like, I don't want to only write in a 1-inch circle on the page. I want my sort of writing zone to be much larger than that, as it should be. But I feel like it's more in business penmanship than in other styles that tells me where my weak points are and where I have to sort of apply a little bit more focus. Oh gosh, what are my long-term goals? If I'm being 100% honest, since the beginning, like there's obviously, I can easily say that I want to be able to replicate the pieces that I study, but that's so vague because, I mean, we studied so many of the styles. But in general, sort of just the way I've always worked, it's less about the goal, it's less about that destination, like where I'd like to be. Obviously, I'd like to have an amazing hand that if you looked at it, you couldn't tell the difference between it and an old scrapbook from any of the Zenarians or something. That would be awesome. Will I ever get there? I don't know. Do I get closer to that all the time? Yes. But that's primarily because the part that I like, the part that I love about this whole thing is the practicing. So, and I've said this since the beginning of my sort of penmanship journey, getting better is sort of just an awesome byproduct of my goal. I enjoy doing it, which ends up making me better. In that, obviously, my eye knows what I want my stuff to look like. So I'm obviously also driven by the old work, but I don't know if I have like specifically like a vision for my own like end goal. I mean, I want to be an insanely good ornamental signature writer, yes. Just because that would be awesome. I guess if I had to pick a goal, exactly. It's my mantra for a reason. It's my life motto. But if I had to say, like, truly and honestly, if I had like an end goal would be, I would love for people to see my work beside the work that I study, be it Zaner, be it Lupfer, be it anybody. Doesn't matter who we're talking about, because I don't particularly want to match. I like that you guys touched on this as well during the podcast. The specific, like, different penmen have their own sort of what I like to call voice in their style of writing. I don't want to look specifically like somebody, but I would like my work to look like one of theirs. So if you looked at a bunch of pieces, if I had a piece of paper that was just as aged as theirs, and you looked at it all, I would love for you to not be able to tell what was the modern piece, what was that. But if you could tell the difference, you'd be able to tell which piece is Michael Ward's piece because you know my writing. Just like how we can tell, if you show me a bunch of the writing, I'll tell you who's Kanan's piece, I'll tell you who's Lupfer's piece, and things like that. I want my writing to only be distinguishable because it's my writing, and not because it's just not as good as the old masters. So I guess there's my long-winded, that would be my goal. But it's a stretch goal. It's a big ask. Oh, my nib dried out while I was talking. Thank you very much. I feel like that's one of the first times I've ever actually fully answered that question. And I like that answer. I feel like I'm really happy with that, because that's a goal that makes sense to me. Yeah, I think that's one of the things, like, practitioners of the scripts, and in the past, not meaning like the vintage penman past, but just in like, even in, like the past 10 years, watching penmen, because there's been multiple, come into the scene, practice, work towards it, and then kind of, I don't want to say power out, but it's really easy to sort of like lose your way and fall off the bandwagon. I think because of my obsessive nature, picking this as a hobby because it's so insanely hard, and I don't know if I will ever have as good of writing as I want my whole life. I don't know if I'll get there, so that's one of the things that keeps driving me. But I think you're right. I think a lot of people come in, go through it, and then you get a little like, why am I doing this? If you don't have that sort of obsessive curiosity or passion for it, it's an easy thing to fall off, because there's not a lot of work, if we're being honest. It's kind of like tap dance. There's not a lot of work in it if you don't really like doing it and aren't driven to actually do it, or have some goal that is really cemented in, that every day you're working towards that goal. It's easy to sort of lose your way and to fall off of it, I think. I mean, wasted time, what is wasted time? I mean, if I took all the years that I've been studying penmanship in general now, I've probably wasted cumulatively like over like a year, more than a year, years probably of just wasted time because of my own. I play. I've spent a lot of years playing, and I still spend a lot of time playing because the playing is what keeps me engaged, and that's sort of what I enjoy. It slows down the learning process. Like my journey through penmanship is by far not the fastest journey. It's probably one of the slowest, if I'm being honest, because I play, and it's kind of like 2 steps forward, sometimes 2 steps back type of a thing. But if I didn't have that play, I feel like I would have sort of lost my way because I don't like having that like solid end goal. I like my goals because the goals grow with me and they come along the journey with me, I guess. Yeah, it's very true. Encouraging enthusiasm is huge. I was talking about this actually last night. Dr. Joe had a chill little Zoom session with some people in the fountain pen community, and I was talking about like those that know me know my personality is kind of ridiculous and silly and goofy, but also there's a reason I go out of my way to be even more that way and casual and relaxed, even in these sessions. It's casual and people see my mess ups and they see that because the more, I guess in my theory, the more sort of chill and fun I can be with it, the more it sort of, I feel like, encourages other people to be enthusiastic about it, to not feel so like stressed out, and because it's easy to be stressed out about it if you take it serious, which it's very easy to take it very seriously, especially when you're starting off first diving in. So I feel like that essence of enthusiasm, passion, fun, play is important. Not everybody's thing, but for me, super important. I would have not been here anymore if I didn't do it. I imagine. There's a fountain pen tip for anybody. Not a real tip. If you want your hairlines to be finer, just talk a whole bunch and wave your pen around and let the nib dry out a little bit. And then when you write, your flow's gonna be ruined, so you'll have a finer line. Not a real tip. Don't actually do that. It's not real advice. I mean, it worked, but... What letter are we gonna do next? Let's do W next, I think. A little bit of W work. Ugh. I don't mind V. I like V. For me with W, it's getting the second downstroke and undercurve, the size and shape that I want to is sort of what I have trouble with. And then also getting that ending stroke. This little guy looking not like a U that didn't go down quite far enough. Because sometimes they can look like that when they don't like loop enough, but if they loop too much, then I don't actually want like a circle in there. Really? Interesting. Triple L. That's a lot in business penmanship because that doesn't stop. I feel like that would stress me out. And I get too sharp down here quite often. Just something I gotta fix. When I go slow enough that my forms are good, my lines go all to garbage. So it's finding that balance now. All right, Mom. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. Have a good night. Sleep well. Ugh. Ugly, ugly, ugly. More flow. Let's see. Where is Zayner's page on the lowercase W? Oh, we're into descender or ascenders. Did I miss it? Where is it? I'm blind. Must have missed it. You. What the heck? Oh, V. Okay. There it is. All right. Oh. See, now, I guess Zayner doesn't do his business penmanship W's like I want to do my own. He keeps them even width for both of them. He doesn't make the second one half width. But maybe I should do them both wide and then narrow the other ones later? Second one. Oh yeah, let's start there. Let's get that a little more uniform. 'Cause that looks rough. The fun song. Doesn't sound very Christmassy like this playlist is supposed to be, but yeah, true. Some video game vibes for sure. Oh my gosh, Yoshi's Island. Throwback. Enjoy, Marilyn. I can imagine. I mean, my posture when I do Engrosso script is not what you see right now. Or signature design or foiling or any of that other stuff. It always baffles me watch some incredible pen, like Walker, for example. Walker's posture at Iampith, baffling to me. If you watch this video, Walker, if you see this is I'm calling you out. I feel like I mentioned something at Iampith though, because he's so leaned over the page, but his ornamental penmanship is still so flowy and whatnot. For me, when I do business penmanship, ornamental penmanship, anything that requires like even a little bit of motion, if I'm not upright, like if my back isn't completely straight, it's I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Like I've like trained out the habit of like slumping or doing anything when I'm writing ornamental penmanship, Spencerian, or like business penmanship. Everything else, I slump, and like when I design signatures, when I'm working in pencil, I full on rest on my hand when I'm writing. I rest my head on my hand on the forearm while I'm drawing and whatnot, but yeah, when I do Engrosso script, and I don't do it as much as these styles, but yeah, I'm very close to the page when I do Engrosso script as well. Similar to, trying to think, Shaded Spencerian is sort of kind of in the middle somewhere, because I do like my hairlines to, they're not fast movement, but I like them to be a little bit free, just because of the size of them. So it's a little more down, but I feel like the posture, this is just so trained in me now. My lower back is just at attention all the time when I'm at my desk, basically. I also a lot of times, and I talk about this in my classes, but I feel like people don't get to see it very often because I don't teach styles where I need to be super close to the page very often, but I always talk to students and just people in general about, like, my back stays flat, but I lean from the waist. That's a lot of, like, even when I'm, like, if I'm getting super close to something here, like, not as, my shoulders aren't, they're restricted, so movement would be affected, but my back, there's never hunch. The hunch is, like, trained out of my body. Hunching feels borderline uncomfortable now. To hunch over doesn't feel comfortable. Leaning flat feels comfortable. The shoulders can take the extra, like, tension when I'm flat, but my back, always flat. There's never any slump anymore, which I can't say how long it took me to get there, but, whoops, what did I do? Hody, sorry, you posted something and I was supposed to... I didn't mean to... Sorry, Hody, you can retype those 2 emojis. I don't know why those came up as a post as a comment or a message that I had to review, and I accidentally hit delete instead of allow. So sorry, your 2 teary-eyed emojis got deleted. If you sit back, Hody, yes, you can still see your hairlines. Get out of here. I write with insanely fine pens and I can still see my hairlines. You can still see. The only time you can't, and you could tell me actually, David, if you've ever run across this, or anybody else for that matter, using like Blots Iron Gall ink or something like that, when I do movement, like quick movement writing, using an Iron Gall ink like Blots, versus something like a McCaffrey's or something that goes down a little bit darker, a brand new bottle or jar of Blots goes down borderline clear. So when I'm doing ornamental penmanship, because there's lifts and you have to like retouch back down at the exact right spot, sometimes when I'm going quick, you don't see the line. And then you like touch down and you keep writing, and then a minute later when you look back after that ink has oxidized and you see that your touchdown point's totally off, but because you're essentially writing with water, when it goes down clear, I have to like leave those jars open for a while until they start to get a little bit dark. Now, none of my ink goes down that clear, but that's true. It's like with the lowercase t, you go up, do that shade, pull down, and then you're like, well, here's hoping. I'm hitting the right spot. Fingers crossed. There's a few of, I like the trust and believe, because I have a lot of moments of trust and believe foiling as well. Especially before now, I put a piece of acetate across over top that has the design I'm foiling. But back in the day, or when I do freehand foiling, or when I would just make a little indent in the foil, because of the reflection and my studio lights, sometimes the foil is just reflecting into my eye, and I can't see where the heck that line is. So as I'm in the middle of a big, huge oval, big flourish, I go, well, I can't see where I'm going, so here's hoping I'm on the right path. And then you just hope you connect to the right spot. Yeah, exactly. Well, hope this works. Fingers crossed. Usually it does. But I definitely notice when I practice in Blots that it feels better to write, but when I look back, I see a lot of things that I misconnected because I just don't see them because it's clear. Well, and yeah, Hody, that makes sense. Super fine hairlines in a flamingo pink iron gall, probably a little tough to see as well, I would imagine. Oh, where's the consistency and movement here? That's very true. Yes, geez, nice. I guess the issue with, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that plays a much larger role in a script like Engrosser script and with ornamental penmanship. Because it is a movement written hairline, you can't fix that. You can't retouch a hairline to look like it. The second your pen touches the paper, if you're not moving at a rapid speed, the line's not going to look the same. You can retouch shades, I guess, the capital shades and whatnot for sure. But ornamental penmanship hairlines, non-retouchable. I wish they were. I feel like the old guys got away with their retouching of movement stuff primarily because they wrote their stuff so much bigger than it was to be printed, so the retouch could end up being hidden. But even so, it's almost always apparent to tell when even the old specimens, when somebody touched up like the taper in or out of a hairline, it's so hard to fix that right. You can fix it so it looks good, but to somebody who knows what it's supposed to look like or what the goal was, it's pretty hard to get it exactly right. Yeah, exactly. So we just have to learn to throw perfectly. I have to do my W's one at a time. If I connect them, they go all to garbage. For now, we'll keep working on W after tonight. Oop, not so nice on that one. I freely pretty much share my work. I feel fine about sharing my work on IG, on Instagram, and on online in general. Admittedly, I have only really posted foiling for the past number of months for no particular reason. I just feel like most of my writing has been practice, and I don't post, like, I could post this, and maybe I will, but this type of stuff I'll post on my Discord, because then people are only on the Discord if they kind of want to see that stuff. But I really don't do much like finished writing work because I've just been very practice oriented. So in my stories, I'll share like snippets of my favorite little things from practice. I mean, on the Discord, we share because of little challenges and stuff we do, so a lot more gets posted on there. But I've never really felt worried about what I post on my Instagram and whatnot. I think it's kind of always been a catch-all of what I feel like putting out there. I've never had much of a hang-up of whether it's perfect or is it good enough. It's, if I made it, it's good enough to post. That doesn't mean it's perfect or it's great or even good, but if I did it, it's what I did. And I sort of preach the like fall in love with the process, love it no matter what it is, even if it's garbage. So when I post, I try to keep that in mind as well. I don't really worry about just posting the really good stuff. Obviously, you lean towards the better stuff, but I need to get back in the habit. I'm out of the habit of posting in general. I don't post very much on social media other than edited foiling videos. I need to post more writing. And I will one of these days. But I do have to apologize to everybody. I know we're like 4 minutes to midnight. I'm not going to go into blacklight tonight because my eyes are dry. I think that's the season. My contacts are quite dry and my eyes squinting or blinking a lot. And I think I don't want to put my brain and eyes through writing in the dim of the blacklight. So I'm not feeling blacklight writing tonight. So this has been a really great night and really great chatting and whatnot. I feel like I might do business penmanship again next week because I'm quite enjoying just these little practice sessions. They've been very fun. Yeah, I think I just got out of the habit of posting, really. Posting regularly, or even just, I haven't been taking like good photos of practice and stuff like that lately, and I haven't been recording my practice very much. So basically, if people want to see what I'm up to, they see it on these lives or they see it on the Discord. It doesn't always make its way to Instagram, but the foiling stuff, that's sort of more polished, and I still enjoy editing those videos, even though I'm probably still over a year behind on editing my foiling videos. But I'm slowly sort of posting those, trying to get one or so out a week, something like that. But yeah, I just got out of the habit of posting my writing. I want to post more writing, but not super into the playing the reels game and stuff like that. I just want to, if I make a video, I just want to post the video. And I'm out of the habit of recording, writing letters and things like that, which I should get back into again. But it is what it is. Everything has an ebb and a flow. But I'm going to cut this off. It's 11:58. Because my lights are about to shut themselves off. And like I said, I'm not going to go into blacklight tonight, maybe next week. I'll put in some eye drops or clean my contacts before the stream. But thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Like I said, this has been a good one. I think I want to do business penmanship again next week because I've been really enjoying it. If you were practicing along with me tonight, keep practicing, keep working on this stuff. If you're on the Discord, I'll see you on the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, I won't see you on the Discord. Make sure that you are falling in love with the process. Enjoy what we're doing here. And don't forget, everybody, that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. See you later. And straight.